Right, so I started out with the lighter greens, and now I'm just going into straight sap green and just tapped into the sap green like so, away from the pile, tap into it, and then just up in here I'm just going to tap some of that into there, because it comes right up to the top of the sky, and then I can put some darker areas in and some lighter areas, so there'll be a nice mixture of stuff in there. That was totally blacked out at the top. A few little areas where you can still see that blue through, but not many. Leave a little gap there, and another little gap in here somewhere. Let's see, just in there. Just with the green for now. Now this edge here is not defined, it's not definable. So I'm just going ahead and putting in some of these greens. This brush is a lovely one for getting the little effects of these little branches coming over. Now just a few darks into them lights, you see, just into there. Don't want to kill it all too, go into it too much, so I'm just going to do the same in there, just on them edges. I'm going to put some of that sap green colour just in, and leave it bright on the edges, very edges. That's good. Different grades of darkness that we're going to have in this painting. Maybe a bit of sunlight shining through just in there too. Now you can tap quite hard because most of these are going to be quite closed in, if you know what I mean. At the moment they're very open, they're not going to stay that way, just in certain areas where I want it to stay open, like up in there. Around it, it's going to be quite blocked in. I'm using hardboard, so sorry about the noise it's making when it vibrates. It's all dark up in here. There's some really good darks in there. And then a few highlights that will really stand out nicely then. So just up in here where we've got these lighter ones that are just starting to show through. So just come up in there and add a few of the darker greens in. It's not that many areas where it's showing through, to be honest. I'm just leaving bigger areas than I need, just so I don't kill them all completely, basically. There, though, that needs to be dark. Right, more sap green. Just come in here and I'll put some in there. Put some nice highlights on the top of all that anyway. I'm going to use that sap green again. Oh, I'm going to put some in the shadows of these, so it's a bit darker, just in the shadows. Just up in here, got some there coming over. I'm going to leave some gaps because I want to change this green, because I don't want them all to be the same. So I will be changing it. I've just been erring on the side of caution just at the moment. I'm not getting too dark too soon. It's going to be a lot darker than it is. I'm trying not to get too dark too soon. It's really important, is that, because it's a stage. I do it stage by stage of acrylics. There. It's going to come right over this lot. So it's mainly going to be lit up because of the sunlight coming through there. So I'll put the shadows underneath. Very black tin is all that. A few bits of blue just showing through now and again. This will all be covered pretty much just by branches and stuff and leaves that are going to be in there. So the main area I've worked on, as you can tell now, is this area here. So I'm just going to get a bit of the brighter yellow again, because I've got the sap green on there. Just going to gently touch here and there some of them really bright leaves where sunlight's just glimmering off of them. Just in there. That's it. Same up in here, there's a few that I did before. Let's go over them and brighten them up slightly. Just here and there. That's it. I love painting woodlands. It's unbeatable, it really is. It's a lovely feeling. I enjoy going out into the woods all the time. Take my little boy out, he loves it. He's right into nature. I'm going to, like I said, tweak it. They're not all over this colour. There's going to be a lot of different shades of green, but while I've got it on my brush, I just want to get some of that colour tone in there. And it is the brightest tone that we're going to be using. So, just want to get it in there while I can, while it's fresh on the palette. A few areas just down in there when it's just showing a bit. Nice. Now just down in here, where I put it before, it's easy enough to just go back to the blues you had originally and the lavender, and to just change it straight back again, no problem whatsoever. Just in there. Put a bit of that blue in. We've got a broken brush there. I'll mix up some more of this purpley colour and I'll put that back in there in place. I'm not worried about it. My brush broke. Oh well. It's only a cheap one, so I don't mind. Right, a few more little bright green just behind in there. There's trees in front of all this. A few little bright spots. Just there and there, up in there. And I'm just working it as I go basically, where I can see the little high spots where the sunlight's hitting them. Just stick it in there. There's some good darks though as well, covering this. Brilliant. I'm happy at that stage. So what I've done, I've used the cadmium yellow, some red and a bit of the green too. Just create a different tinge of green basically. It's more to the yellow ochre side is this. Push and get a ridge as before. And with that, I'm just going to come up into here and I'm just going to alter the odd part. Got a bit too much paint on there at the moment. It works better when you start to run out of paint like that. Just here and there, just going to add a few hints of that tone up into there. And everywhere pretty much, all over the canvas. I'm going to really tap hard into it. There we go. More of this type of colours because obviously it's a summer scene. Just coming from summer to autumn, just starting to turn, so you're seeing a few of these darker coloured leaves in between the bushes and stuff. Yellow ochre type colours. Just a bit of that in there. Same in here. I just add some here and there, sparingly. It's going to be much more covered up than it is. All this area, much darker as well. I just want to get some of these tones in for the leaves. Different shades. Sometimes you can just get more yellow into that same colour and it'll just brighten it up a little bit here and there for that tone, as though that's been hit by sunlight. A few leaves that are a bit more like that colour. And there it's a bit greener. Just a few of these out here which seem to have a bit more of lemon, yellow ochre tones. Happy. Now it's time to get a few darker tones in there because just up in here I've got a tree that's coming down and it's got ivy actually growing up it, and this all wants to be quite a bit darker in there too, so more than likely use some of the blues with that. Let's try it. Put some of the blues with this sap green and stuff that I've got going on. Just put a bit more sap green out. See, this is all getting lit up by the sunlight. This is in shadow, so I'm going to indicate that now by using the sap green. And I've also got a little bit of black. I'll use so that is mixing time. And while I've got that on there, I can just see that black, mix that black, some of that into this dark green. Just a little bit of it though, I don't need a lot. Just want it to be a bit darker. I don't want it to be black. I'm just darkening the greens up basically, and then in the shadowed areas I can add some of that here and there. And then remember to leave out these little areas where I wanted the light to show through, which is like there. Darken some of the leaves up on the edges, and that's no problem. That in there is really dark. It's like I'm playing drums. You get a rhythm going. Some good dark shadow just down in there. And that's a lighter bush that's just underneath. Just in certain areas, pick it off and make it a little bit darker still even. Just in the very dark spots, just down in there. It's quite dark, is that? It's surprisingly dark in there. It's almost gone silhouette, some of them leaves, but you'll still have that green showing through behind that I put in before, and leave some brighter ones showing through also. That's good. See how I've got just a few little bits of light, and I can get some sticks and twigs and branches and stuff like that all in there too. Now I'll do that exact same thing with the darker greens, just on this side, in here. And there's areas, like I said, where I want to leave the blue. You can't really see it, but just showing through here and there. But the darks really help bring out the lights with acrylics. Just by adding these little bits of darks, it makes all these light colours stand out much better. Down at the base it's always very dark. Very, very dark in there. I can go back over still with some lighter colours afterwards, but I just wanted to get them darks in first for myself, basically, more than anything, so that I'm aware of all the big shadows, dark shadows down in there, and then a bit more sporadic up in here so that you can still see all the branches and the different colours which I've used. And this will transform the branches that you've done, that you've highlighted. It really will. Don't want to go too OTT, because if you get too much paint on, you get a pattern going, too much of a pattern. You want some shapes and patterns, obviously, you know, but I want it to be natural looking. Don't want it to look like it's been printed. Now gently just in there, and just tap a few darks into that. Just a bit higher. So I'm turning brushes as well. That'll stop you from repeating patterns too much. Just by twisting that brush a little bit can really help. Just a few in there. You'll notice otherwise you'll get certain repetitive marks happening, like that one there, which I do like, but if I had it everywhere I probably wouldn't like it, you see. You get the odd thing that repeats itself, so I just go over that. Now up in here, it's very dark it is, and then my highlights will stand out lovely when I put them back on again. Just over the tops where I need them, but I'll use a small brush for that, you see. A few bits of sky showing through just in that area. And this will give you woodland's depth by having all the different shades of dark to light shades. Don't kill all those lights that you've put in.